Okay, thank you so much for being here today and for your interest in this heartbreaking case. As you saw this afternoon in court, it has really impacted the community at Douglas County greatly. This afternoon or this evening, you're going to hear from Victoria Sobolewski, Alex's mother, Sheriff Darren Weekly, DA-elect George Brockler, and family attorney Phil Harding. We'll start with Victoria.
Hello, everybody. Well, as you probably know, the verdict was 1 year in jail and $1,000 fine, which is under current law a maximum possibly outcome we could get. So I can't say I'm happy, but I am satisfied. As I say, it will ease my pain that the judge saw through this case, didn't compare to any other cases because every case is different. Every case is different. So the fact that judge acknowledged it and ruled it in our favor make me very pleased, but it's just a start. I spoke on the vigil when my son died. I keep talking about that every time somebody is interviewing me about current situation with a law. Careless driving resulting in death. Person cannot be accidentally careless. Careless is a distraction. You can't run the red lights if you're paying attention. That's neglect to obey traffic lights. So I do have very good people who agree to work with me on to change the law and make it felony. Because today defense attorney keeps repeating the word misdemeanor, like it's something minor. There is nothing minor about human life. Nothing minor. And in my opinion, punishment has to be proportional to the outcome of the crash. We don't like the word accident because there's only very few true accidents when driver doesn't have a control on the road. Everything else is crash, it's neglect. Punishment has to be appropriate to outcome. In our case, outcome is death of my son. I do have some people who would like to speak today about what we're going to do, but after the meeting with Governor Polis back in April, it was one of his recommendations is to change the wording and make this kind of crashes involuntarily manslaughter, which will make it a felony. And I think it's appropriate wording for that because it will put full meaning to what is happening. Yes, you didn't mean it. However, you still, somebody lost a life at your fault. So we are going to be fighting to make this kind of cases involuntarily manslaughter a felony. Thank you.
This case is a horrific tragedy for all involved. I'm grateful for Judge Bowling's sentence. It's not going to bring Alex back, but that was the most severe sentence that Judge Bowling could hand out. This was one of the most horrific crash scenes that I've ever seen. When our deputies showed up on scene, it was a horrible scene. I commend them for their response and how they handled it. But what made it worse was when Victoria showed up on scene and our commander had to tell her that her son was dead. The system is very broken when the most severe consequence for careless driving resulting in death is a $1,000 fine and a year in jail. Alex is gone, and this family, this community has to live with that for the rest of their lives. And as I told Judge Bowling, you shouldn't kill somebody in the state and throw the penalty on your credit card. It's absolutely unacceptable. And so I will be working with this family. I will be working with our state legislature to change the penalties because, again, it is unacceptable. We can do better as a state and start holding people accountable for their actions. And I was grateful to get to know this family. And my heart bleeds for them and it bleeds for the community. But I'm just so thankful that Judge Bowling didn't honor the defense's request for probation. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you for your time.
Evening. My name's George Brockler. I want to make it clear. I'm not speaking on behalf of this current district attorney's office. I'm just Guy who is going to be the DA a week from today. But I do want to give a shout out to the DA's office. You saw the presentation in there. They did absolutely everything that the law would let them do. After the sheriff's office put together the best possible case that they could put together, and the judge gave the strongest possible sentence the law would allow, and we're standing here with a hollow feeling that somehow 1 year can't capture what was taken. And this kid was a year younger than my son. They showed those videos of him at that batting cage. We go to that batting cage. You can do 8 million things in your life to protect yourself from crime. Where you work, where you live, the time of day you go out and do things. One thing none of us can protect ourselves from is what takes place on our roads. I can't think of another charge on Colorado's books that result in the death of another human being that has such a low punishment as this one. I can't think of one. Whether it's work release or jail, 1 year is insufficient. And keep in mind what this family's endured up until this moment. Until this moment, this great district attorney's office had to tell them, you know what? The probation department thinks this guy ought to walk out of the courtroom with probation, and we can't tell you that it won't happen. Until the moment Judge Bowling gave the strongest sentence he could give, they did not know what would happen as a result of the death of their boy. He did nothing wrong. He did everything we want our kids to do. The same can't be said for the defendant. No matter what happens, that guy's going to see his family again. He's going to go outside. Hell, he could make more kids if he wanted to. But for these folks, their boy's gone and gone forever. There needs to be a change in this law that reflects the loss. I agree with Mom on that. There needs to be a law that provides a judge a greater sanction. Now, there may be cases out there where someone can kill another human being and they should be able to walk out of the courtroom without any incarceration. I just don't know what that case is. And that's the discussion we need to have with the legislature right now. I'm sorry. Sorry just isn't enough, and you know what? Neither's a year in jail. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk.
Thank you. Mr. Hart?
So my name is Phil Harding, and I'm one of the civil attorneys. There's two aspects to this case. There's the criminal one, which was against Mr. Moronis. And now we're going on the civil case. And the civil case is we're going after the entity that supplied this killing machine. And if you drive a van like this, and if you hire someone with a background like this, then you need to pay. And so let's talk a little bit about a wrongful death case and what it is. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen 1 day from now and 31 days from now. So in a wrongful death case, there are 2 different types of damages. There's what's known as economic damages, and that's like lost, if you're an adult, lost wages, medical expenses, burial. Then there's non-economic damages. which is what this family is going through and what they will go through for the rest of their lives. Economic damages, there are no caps. And what that means is if the jury comes in and says, you know what? Man, you lost a husband and he would have given you $10 million over the rest of his life. But in kid cases like this, economic damages are a long shot. Now let's talk about non-economic damages. As of 7 days ago, on January 1st, the non-economic damages more than doubled. And they're now at $2.125 million. So no matter what a jury awards in a case like this, and the jury never knows about these caps, so a jury may come in and award $5, $10, $20 million to a family, and that's not going to be enough. The moment that last juror walks out and the door closes, the defense and the insurance company lawyers get up and they say, "Caps, judge," and that verdict gets eviscerated. It gets knocked down to $2.125 million. Let's think about it. First of all, just raise your hand out there. Who has kids? Everyone. If you have kids, please just raise your hand. I want you to now lower your hand whenever you disagree with me. Who thinks that their kid is worth $2.125 million? Who thinks your kid is worth more than $5 million? More than $10 million? Not one hand went down. So let me tell you what we're doing in this case. Because defense attorneys, insurance defense attorneys, whenever we talk on cases such as this, they say, I guess I'll offer you the caps. And maybe we should be grateful that this year it's gone up to $2.125 million. It's more than doubled, but we're not. And we really think that the jurors down here in the 23rd are going to see that children have value. And here's the reason why. Defense always comes up and they says, you know, it costs more to raise a kid than you ever get back. You got to pay for his schooling, for everything, right? Health care, for taking him back and forth. But we as parents know, right now, you may be taking care of one of your parents. When they retire, you may be giving them money. And so we have an economist that puts in present day value the loss, the economic loss of Alex here. And let's talk about Alex for a second. What 13-year-old kid says he's going to get a PhD and become an engineer? What kid does that? An engineer, a thinker. And so our economist is going to say that Alex's loss to his parents is between $4.6 and $5.4 million. And so, in one day, tomorrow, I am sending to the insurance company a policy limit demand. And I'm telling them, you have 30 days to pay everything that you have. Full policy limit demand. And if you don't, then on the 31st day, we're filing a lawsuit. And we feel that the jurors down here in the 23rd are going to agree with us that minors not only have a non-economic amount that should be awarded, but an economic. And so the last question that may come across is, hey, if we're just doing a policy limit demand to the insurance company, how does that punish the corporation? I'll tell you how. So this corporation, the moment a policy limit is made, that insurance company then reports to every other insurance company. And now they're re-rated, and they write much bigger checks on insurance because they don't look at risk. And so every month that they write that bigger check, I want them to think of Alex. And I want them to say, we really could have done better for Alex. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Can someone just clarify the driving history of the defendant in this case for me? The instances from 2001 and 2010, I believe.
I don't have it on me, but we can get that for you.
Corey?
Yep. Nobody has one either. What questions do you have?
Just the exact charges, and did he plead both of them? Were they dropped? How did both of them get resolved?
Would you mind coming up here so we can hear you? Sorry.
Sorry.
There's a lot. If you would just say your name.
Yep. My name is Corey. My last name is spelled Caler. In terms of the driving history, there's 12 traffic offenses. They range from minor traffic infractions to DUI charges. Both of the DUI charges were pled as plea agreements at some point. There was also a prior careless causing injury that was also resulted in a plea agreement.
And those were 2001 and 2010.
The DUIs were 2001, 2010. The careless causing injury was 2006.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
And then I suppose for the family, I know that you guys had previously been working with Senator Kevin Van Winkle on potential changes in the session. I believe the sheriff said you spoke with a different state senator today, I imagine, since Van Winkle is now a commissioner. Can we know any more about what we might be expecting, and would it be this session or?
Unknown. I spoke to Senator John Carson this morning. He lives near the crash scene, and he is looking forward to meeting with the family. And so we have a lot more discussions that need to take place, but from my conversation with him, it sounds like he'd like to take this on.
Victoria, can you talk a little bit about how Alex touched so many lives? We heard so many really moving statements in court.
Well, people who knew Alex, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. The box I brought with me today to the court was filled with the letters from his classmates and sometimes just from his schoolmates who didn't know personally him, but everybody knew Alex and everybody loved Alex. He didn't have any single enemy. And the acts like that cafeteria which I spoke in the court about, that's what Alex was. The fact that he would often take the blame if somebody did something wrong so his friend won't get in trouble, that's Alex. I mean, he was normal teenager he did his mistakes, but he would always accept all the responsibilities and consequences of his actions. Caring, that's what every single letter in that box, caring. That's how everybody describe Alex. It's just his nature. So, the Summit View Elementary School was so touched that parents and teachers of Summit View Elementary School, Alex graduated the year prior, gathered some funds and installed Alex's body bench on the school premises. It's big, it's huge for me because now his name is out there and people will ask what is that about, so his name is going to be repeated, and it's also act of being caring. I'm working with the Douglas County Park and Recreation district because I would like to install another bench in the park near Alex, where Alex used to play baseball, and plant some trees. My wishes are going a little bit more than probably I can make, but I was going to talk today about establishing a park. Maybe it's not just a regular park, but like a community garden, and it's not in the name of Alex. Of course, from my side, it would be in the name of Alex, but I want to acknowledge all victims of the traffic crimes, and that's including the police officers who more often than not, unfortunately, dying by being hit on the side of the roads. So I was even thinking name it our Garden Angel Park. So it will honor everybody. But that's just the plan for the future. I thought I will throw it out over there.
Can I know what that hat is that you're holding?
Yes. This is Alex's hat from his baseball, and it goes with me everywhere. If I leave the house, well, except for work, it travels with me. He loved this hat. Why it's unique? Because it doesn't have a number. Alex lost his hat, and I had to order this one. So, out of all his teams, this hat is the only one doesn't have a number. He was number 12. His name, his best friend switched his jersey number to 12 in honor of Alex, which is big because he was number 1, and change it to number 12. It's a big step. One of the drivers who was participating in the rally after Alex's death reached out to me, and he knew. I talked to him on the cemetery, and he knew that was Alex's dream car. It was a Hellcat. Of course, it's his dream car. He reached out to me a couple of weeks later that he officially changed the name and the license plates from Max to Alex to honor my son. So he has Guardian Angel riding with him all the time, and my son got his dream come true in the only possible way. So he did touch lots of people and strangers.
Anyone else? Well, thank you for being here today, and we ask you to keep Alex and our deputies in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.